Initialize console game.os, of course. Alright, that looks good. Right now I'm just trying to refactor everything. Calc OMS cell recharge. Oh, I was working on render. I'll get that working first. Alright, so what does this take in? Alright, camera space, player rect. So I want to render everything relative to the camera. Bring up the camera again. Camera takes in the player. So do I need camera space player rect? Sometimes we'll do the refactor and let's see if it will clean it up afterwards. Alright, render OMS cells. So right now I'll go ahead and take in all the things. Alright, so it takes in so what I can do is, instead of, let's copy everything over and then I'll do the refactor. I think that's probably best. Because right now these are all like creating side effects. And I want to eventually remove the side effects. Why do I return results? Is that going somewhere? No. Oh, results is being returned inside of that. And that is getting set into appetite purpose. Okay, so that works. Render cells, I should just call it render. The only reason I didn't say you were is that I didn't remember you having a beard at all. I sometimes have a beard. It just depends on how often I decide to when I forget to shave or not. So if I don't leave the house, sometimes I get a little scraggly. Ryan makes a way better Santa Claus, just saying. He's all like jolly. He's a jolly person. Alright, so state out. A lot of things are being passed in. I'm gonna do the extraction and remove the things that are being passed in once I figure out where that extraction needs to happen. So state, outputs, player, camera space, player rect. It's going to cause exceptions, I know. Alright, so what am I missing? Nothing? Really? It just worked? There we go. I was about to say. OMS cell rect is not there. OMS cell def OMS cell rect. Okay. OMS cell rect requires an index, requires the player. See, that's the interesting thing. This only requires the because I need the actual length of the cells. I think that's okay. All right, let's move that over. Do I need this function anywhere else? I use it. Nope. Move that. Move that. Now what are you angry about? Wrong number of arguments. Okay, you're right. Alright, yeah, I'm gonna pass it all in there. Still? Where else? That's... yeah. Select player. Camera. Camera on line 85. What? Okay, I need to pass in camera. See, a lot of dependencies around this, which is good. Like, figuring out what the dependencies are is a good thing. Render cells. Alright. So all that's refactored. That's good. So what is camera space player rect actually used for? Okay, so the rendering of the cells is directly under the player using this stupid mess of an algorithm. And what I'm doing here, do I need, I don't think I need that. Because I can then take the player's position and then convert it to camera space, I think. But I think camera space player rect, the challenge there is, let me see what it looks like. Yeah, because I have to use, I use the rendering, I use the rendering rectangle of the player as opposed to the collision rectangle. And then the render box for the player is that right there. All right, so I'll keep that in there for now. Outputs does not need to be passed in. All right, so let's remove passing that specific thing in. So the idea here is that render OMS cells. It's going to have this kind of setup instead. And then remove the requirement of outputs. Unexpected syntax error. Your face? Where's the syntax error? Ah, right there. Render cells wrong number of arguments. No, it isn't. State player, camera space rect. It's not the wrong number of arguments. Okay, there we go. All right, so that part looks good. What other dependencies do I need to get rid of? All right, so state does what? Death animation completed at, and then the elapsed time. So I don't want to render the aiming reticle, the cells for OMS when the player is doing its death animation. So let me see, like if I move the player, so I'll move the player here. Right, and then if I make the player die, I'm waiting for death animation completion to occur before I render the cells. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and extract this out too. So render cells is just going to be called cell prefabs. And then I'll call this cell prefabs. Because it's no longer doing the rendering. The rendering still happened in render OMS cells, but only the prefabs are created here. So that should remove any dependency I have on state. So I have the tick count, and then I have the FXQ that is getting added to. So what does that mean? That means I want to create a hash for the result. And I'm going to set the prefabs and the FXQ in here. Okay? Alright, so result dot prefabs is equal to this. So is it still a cell prefab? I think so. Right, so that's correct because I'm now returning prefabs. So I'll take the prefabs. 4 people in the chat. Welcome everyone. Feel free to lurk, and also feel free to ask questions and stuff. Prefabs. Naming things. At least maybe call them primitives. Yeah. And this will be called primitives. Nothing is rendered. Fantastic. That's exactly what I wanted. That's literally not what I wanted. Why aren't you rendering anything? Okay, there we go. Alright, so prefabs are being rendered. And so I'm still doing a side effect here with the FXQ. Alright. So what do I want to do here? So instead of making this a map, I'll do an each with index. So you are familiar with 2 artist problems in Parliament? Yes, naming things. Some of the API names in DragonRuby, it's so painful. It's so painful. Tick count is still required in state, so I need to get rid of that. And so here I want to say primitives. It's so difficult. It's so difficult to name things. And I think I obsess over it too much, I think. So FXQ is going to be there too. The number of times that me invoking that joke has led to things being named cache invalidation. I call everything util. Helper. Something util. Because it's like, it's just a bunch of things. It's a bunch of functions that do things, and I have no idea where it's supposed to go. Cell drawing helper. Alright, so instead of passing to state, I will pass into result.fxq. And then instead of results wherever, I'll do result.primitives. Result.primitives. And so what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to make this function pure, and then this function is what creates the side effects and mutates the top level game state. Alright, so I no longer have to return results because this is what's doing the population of the results. And then right now, because the FXQ hasn't been primitive marker, the method primitives doesn't exist. Line 100. Result. Is it called result? Like, do you call it results or result? Right, I call it result. The results are cell prefabs. What's the temporary construct called? I don't know. I have no idea. And of course I misnamed it. So here's called results. Why do I call it results? I don't know. Why isn't that used anywhere else? I have no idea. Literally the worst. Hey, what am I using this for? Okay, borders. So I need the border. And I always want to add the border in there. Result.primitives. Do I call it results or result? Alright, so those things are there. Yeah, there's definitely a musical component that I hope you like the music. One. But yeah, there's definitely a musical component that this game has. So prefabs.fxq. So the idea here is this function's pure, and then the top level game function is where the mutation occurs. So if I did everything right, yep, so there's my FXQ. It's kind of hard to see, but like there's like a small little border that gets created, and then they get updated. So that looks good. So render OMS cells, and then I want to call them OMS render OMS cell. Just call it render OMS. OMS stands for Orbital Management System. That's like when I move around, like while I'm in air, you've got 4 charges on your orbital management. Hi, I want to offer a promotion for your channel. Oh, come on. Not even that popular. How do I ban? How do I ban a person? Like, do you really gain anything by doing this? Fucking idiot. Alright, enjoy. I'm a nobody. Like, who's even gonna be in this channel? Your conversion rate for call to actions is 2.3%. Or like, yeah, at its best. There's 4 people in there. What's 4% of 2.3? Nothing. / band name. Cool. Like, if you're gonna advertise and spam, you know, shoot for some percentage of success. Like, it's dumb. Waste of time. All right, so FXQ is in place. So what am I saying here? So I'm getting the OMS rectangle. The cell rect takes the position relative to the player. So I'm already doing that for, wait, I'm doing that for the cell rect. So why do I need the start position to be what it is? Yeah, I'm not even using it. That's good. I like that. So I'm not using that. And that means camera space is not being used. Awesome. All right, so cell prefabs. Do I even want to prefix it with cells? Like, it's just OMS dot prefabs. I'm cool with that. Contextually, I already know that it's part of the orbital management system. All right, so I have my prefabs, and then those prefabs are going to be sent to primitives and then concatenated to prefabs FXQ. So what I'm saying here is that the orbital management system generates the fancy rectangles, and then when it's used, you get you get an artifact of it like charging or missing the charge. So I think that's good. So OMS cell rect, like same thing here. Do I need? So I convert everything to camera space there. There's a dependency on the camera. I think having that top level dependency is fine. I could pass that module in. So I've got a camera. This is the context that it operates on. This is kind of like the prefab. I can call this prefab rect, maybe. I know sometimes refactoring is boring, but I kind of want to clean this up before I go into like the actual portal mechanics itself. So this is the border. Solid with alpha of 255. Solid with alpha based off of how long before the cell recharges. Which is a mechanic that I removed, and I wish I didn't remove it because I need to add it back because of the portal mechanic, but I'll fix that later. Alright, so that part's good. Calc OMS cell recharge. So this is another thing that I need to move over. And I do use the player for things, right? Yeah, I do use the player. Self dot calc. Keep it simple from that perspective. I'm passing in, all I need is player in this case. Player is a dependency. That looks good. State. So I have to pass in the tick count here again. Yeah, I think that's fine. But it'll just be top level as a dependency. And then the question is, what's the order? And I think the order will be tick count, comma player. All right, that looks good. Prefab rect. Yeah, prefab still takes in state, and I think the only place that state is taken is because of tick count, so I'll do the same thing here. And then I don't need the state variable. Okay, that looks good. I have my indexes. So during the calculation, reindex all cells. Replenish if player is on floor. Replenish if cell dot stat is, yeah. So if the cell status is charged, then replenish it. Okay, so I've got a situation where I use the orbital management system. So I've got the render. That's the default initialization. And I'll just call this calc OMS. That's the calculation of the OMS. Where else do I use OMS? Alright, so that's all the keyboard input. Keyboard input I'll keep at this level for now. So input OMS is what I want to look at next. So input does a combination of some calculation and mutation on the player. As side effects. Same with the calc function here. I kind of want to combine these, but yeah, I'll move it over first and then I'll worry about combining. I care about the player. And then the inputs that are passed in. So OMS down, up, left, and right. The question is, yeah, I think I'll pass in inputs, and then I can move those things into OMS also. So the top level game is going to do orchestrations for each one of these modules, but I'm kind of trying to organize the specifics of input and what have you for each one of these like abilities. So orbital management system is an ability, and then the portal mechanic itself will be an ability. 5 people in chat. Welcome, additional person. So I care about player, and I care about I think inputs being passed in. So I'll do OMS.input, look at the player, and then inputs. There's the dependencies. And then OMS right, up, left, and down. This is all noise, right? It's like, it's kind of input mapping. And I gotta pass inputs into everything. What am I doing here? Let me undo that. And what I'll do is I'll say, instead of inputs being passed in, I'll say movement requests, and movement requests will have up, down, left, and right. Naming things. Up, it's going to be OMS up. Down, left, right, I'm still not sure if that's going to be the correct place to put it, but we'll see. So movement request right, movement request left, up, down. Alright, so all the movement requests are in there. Player is a dependency. What do I use player for? So I do look at whether the player is on the floor or not. And after that, right, so ignore OMS calculations, or what are those red, blue stripes of letters that pop up sometimes? Red, blue stripes of letters? Was it like animated? Like if I do... So that right there, is it that animation you're talking about? It's not red and blue. So editor left of the text you're working on. So we've got some green. So this is like the REPL, right? So every time I update a file, you'll see a notification. I can make this a little bit bigger actually. But yeah, whenever I save a file, so if I save this file, you'll see a notification that comes up. And just to the right of the line, just to the right of the line number, I'll keep an eye on in the Emacs. So left of the text you're working on. Yeah. Oh, this right here. This is what you're talking about. Gotcha. So it's a facility called Ace Jump in Emacs. So for example, if I want to, so let's say I'll give you a good example. So I was here, right? So I was like, okay, I need to change OMS right, OMS left, up and down to look at input requests. So if I'm on this line, I'm gonna do right input _ requests. Did I call it that? Yeah, movement request. Sorry, movement request dot right. All right, so I made that change, but now I want to change line 41. So there's a couple of ways I can go there. I can do J. I can scroll down to that line, and then scroll over, which is one option. I can do an incremental search, where I type in like part of the value, and then it jumps to that option, or I can use Ace Jump, and I have a I have a command on my keyboard mapped to a leader key, and when I press it, I say leader J, and it gives me a jump list. So if I want to jump to this line, I can press K and H, and it will jump to that line for me. So I don't have to think about the like specific name. I just can visually see K and J. So I can go, all right, well, I want to jump to OMS left, so I'll hit my command, and then I know OMS left's on KH. So I press that, and then I jump there. I can even jump by word. Yeah, and it's all bound to home row keys. So I can even jump by word. So I immediately can get to a specific point. And the composability is nice too. So if I wanted to delete everything in here, I can do the delete what's called the delete modal editing, and then after I press D, I can be like, okay, I want to delete to line 48, so that's KF. So it's just a quick way to do extremely fast navigation and movement without having to, worry about the rest of it. Yeah, so like another example is like, okay, I want to extract this function into, or extract this if block into a function. So I'm here, I'll start my highlight, do a line jump, and then press the value. And I don't have to worry about like saying, oh, I want to go to the end of the paragraph or something. It's all based off of that function out there. But yeah, that's how that works. So movement requests dot up. So right there is a demonstration of the speed of that movement and that refactoring. What editor did you use? Do not put me on pizza. If you're made of pineapple, I'm definitely not putting you on pizza. Don't worry about it. But there might be a plugin for the specific editor you use that does a similar thing here. What's really cool is if there's multiple files open, and I'm like here. No, Pet says got you. So what's really cool is if I have like, let's say I have my camera, and I have this and like the top level game. So if I'm over here inside of camera, and I want to move all the way to line 343 on main, I get a jump list on everything, and so it makes it super quick. Yeah, mouse. Nicer things. My attention span is like this, and my focus is that tiny also. So if I have to reach over to the mouse, it costs me. It costs a lot of mental overhead. So I try to avoid that if I can. All right. Okay, I knew I broke stuff there. So player bounce sound is the sound that occurs if movement occurred, right? So I'll say yeah, I want for right now I'll have the results return. Right, so did movement occur? Movement occurred, right? So actually, I don't want movement occurred. OMS used. All right, OMS used, and everywhere where I have play bounce on, I want to set results. Did I call it result last time or results? This is literally the worst. Result. All right. I'll go with that. And then I want to set here, instead of player balance, result dot OMS used equals true. Right, do those updates. And I want to say play bounce sound if result dot OMS used. All right, what did I break? I know I broke something. That's fine. I need to return result. Non-float value at render editor level? What? What does that have anything to do with anything? Alright, what did I break? Let's go back. That's what it was before. Reset the game. And what if I just comment out play bounce sound? Does everything else work? All right, state. State is still used for the tick count. All right, so I need to pass in tick count player, and then the input requests. Movement requests, that's fine. Tick count. Gravity is also passed in, huh? All right, fine. Tick count, gravity. Again, and this refactoring is good because I can see what my dependencies are for all these like specific things. And list of methods, tick count, method name. Yep, it's state.tickCount. All right, let me make sure everything still works. Right, but I'm not getting the bounce sounds, which I expected, because play bounce sounds is not being passed in. So now what I want to say is return, so result is equal to OMS used, set that to false. 7 people. That's terrifying. That's so many people. Return results. And then here I want to say results of the input. Gravity Gravity state player, all that looks good. OMS stands for Orbital Management System. So when I launch my probe, I called it result, didn't I? See, I keep typing results instead of result. So when I launch my player while you're airborne, you can use the probe's ability for orbital management and like nudge it. So if I press right while I'm still airborne, you'll see that I can shift up, down, left, or right, and you get 4 charges of your air quotes orbital management system. And just for my future self, I could probably give it a better name. Like spaceships or like astronaut suits, when they're out into space, they've got this like little joystick and they can shift it left and right, and a little like psst of gas comes out to help them kind of like nudge in a specific direction. I did a search for that, and I think apparently it's called orbital management system, but I'm not 100% sure. Naming things. I swear. Yep, so OMS is false. And it's still false, which I expected. See, I keep saying results instead of result singular. So I think I'll probably change all my variable names to be results instead of result. But let me say OMS used equals true. All right, OMS used is true, so puts results if result dot OMS used, yeah, if OMS was used. So now I should see a puts, yeah, OMS used is true. Cool. So that part works, and so now I want to do play bounce sound. Cool. Good refactor. I should probably commit. Extracting OMS logic into separate class. Cool. So let's go back to my game. Again, for those that are watching, welcome. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. All right, so main OMS, OMS. So OMS underscore cells. Calc OMS. The calc does nothing except that. This is input requests. We construct our movement requests here. And then if it was used, we do that. Render OMS looks good. And then I don't think render OMS needs the camera space player rect anymore. Nope. I think OMS rendering is actually refactored now. That's nice. Okay, so now we can get back to the OMS's interaction with the player mechanic. So the challenge here is that I'm going to create a portal, and this is what I wanted to fix. I'm going to create a portal below me. And then I'm going to nudge over. The rendering of the portal isn't great now. That's something I need to fix. So you'll notice that the little probe is bouncing, swapping between each portal now. So I'm going to use my, I'm going to exhaust all usages of the OMS. Okay, so they're all used up. And now the question is like, how do I get out of this? Right? I'm stuck forever if I can't nudge in one direction or the other because I can't use the OMS anymore. It's like crap. And for eternity, you're just gonna be stuck forever. That can't be the answer, unless I'm trying to troll people. So I want to be able to use. I want the OMS to recharge, regardless of whether the player's on the floor or not, but across the board, like over a certain period of time. So what I can do is, so OMS use should deplete cell, and I have a status change it, which is good. So for my calc on the OMS, for each cell, I reinitialize the index, I set it to false. If the status is depleted and players on floors, then do that. Or I can say, and I only care about depleted cells, so I might want to filter this and only do depleted cells. I'll make that change next. So if cell dot status, right? So all this. Oh, but I want to re-index every cell all the time, huh? Okay, never mind. But I can go in and put this in here. Wait, I want to move that back out. So I want to replenish the cell if the cell status is depleted and the player is on floor. I also want to replenish the cell. The question is that Avi for jumping for lines? Yes. It's but this is Emacs, so it's ace jump. But essentially, is it ace jump? In Vim, one of the plugin, like the Vim plugin is either called Avi or ace jump, or the Emacs plugin is called Avi or ace jump. But yeah, that's basically what I'm using there. Welcome to the stream, by the way. And so I also want to say if cell status at dot elapsed time is greater than I think I said originally I had it as like 10 seconds. I want to set that to true also. So now what I'm hoping is that after 10 seconds, that should be replenished. So yeah, so now I can, so if I've exhausted all my cells, and then I'm moving back and forth between the portals. Yep, so over 10 seconds, you'll see each thing come back. So now I have a way to escape. I have a way to escape my infinite portals. And that was the whole point of me doing that refactor for like the past hour. What's wrong with me? I could have just written that line and been done, right? Yep, so there's the recharge. Dominic, what editor do you use? I'm assuming you're familiar with Avi and Ace Jump. It's a great plugin, I love it. Okay, so the other thing I want to change was results equal. Results equal. Results equal. Yeah, because I kept saying results instead of result. So I'm going to go ahead and stick with that naming convention. Easy Motion is Vim. Easy Motion is the Vim plugin. Yeah, Emacs, and I came across Avi recently. Yeah, Avi's, I can't live without it. It's really great, especially in combination with Evil, because it composes. So you can actually do a prefix it with like delete, and then do a jump to the line that you want to delete to, or a yank or a change, and it will actually compose. It composes extremely well with Evil. But yeah, freaking love it. The coloring makes my eyes hurt. I should probably change the theming for that, but some other time. Yes, Evil is Emacs, but control it like Vim, as God intended. Modal editing, it's just so wonderful. So 2 camera space, camera, all that looks good. All right, so let me add that update. So OMS charges over time even when a player is airborne. All right, so now that refactoring is good, now I need to do the same refactoring for portals. But let's go back to, before I start the refactoring, I want to fix portals. I'll do some combination. I might do the refactoring while I'm trying to fix portals. But yeah. So first thing is I want the rendering of the portals to be like aligned with the terrain. And right now, while I was doing like the actual portal work, I put everything inside of just one function just to try to figure out how to get portals to work. So I need to do that extraction anyways, and then also like fix the rendering. So that might actually be worth going ahead and kind of extracting as I do this. Portal.rb. Yeah, I strongly recommend installing that plugin. It's just so wonderful. All right, class portal, self dot portal prefabs, or just call it prefabs. Not evil. Well, evil, of course, but I understand that's a huge learning curve. But yeah, Avi or Ace Jump, wherever I called it. Describe key. It is Avi. The plugin is Avi. I think Ace Jump does Windows, but Avi handles Windows, as it can do across Windows. So I didn't see the need of installing both. So where do I do the actual rendering of the portal? Yeah, input player portal. Okay, so this is the rendering right here. State.blue portal and orange portal. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and take that. I guess, yeah, just pass them in. Blue portal, orange portal, and results. Set the primitives. So keeping these functions pure, and then I'll do the rendering actually back on the main game. Alright, so those are my prefabs. So then here I would do is equal to portal.prefabs. Yep, I don't need any of that. Alright, so this should still work. And then I can remove the references to state. And it looks like I need player and camera, huh? Yep, I need player. Is that all I need? Yeah, I need player and camera. Blue portal, orange portal, player and camera. Cool. All right, so the portals are rendering, but now it goes back to like they're not rendering correctly, and I think the issue is that I need to shift each one of the portals up by a small amount. All right, so there's my blue portal, and I'm going into camera space. I used to have like a camera space used to take in a parameter like dy and dx. Yeah, I'm not doing that anymore. Dx, set that to 0. Dy, set that to 0. So these will be nudgings of the portal. Player.dx. Player.dy, and I'm always subtracting 8. So I could probably set this to just -8. That's the default. Change that to plus, and do that. Cool. I can't see the code on the left. Oh, yeah, sorry. Thank you. I forgot I went full screen for a little bit. Alright, so dx and dy. Welcome, Captain Surge. Captain Surge 1. Alright, so if I go back to Portal, and so here, as far as the rendering, I want when I render the portals to shift them up a little bit, I actually want dx to be 0 and dy to be 0. I don't know why I have to do that yet, but I'm sure we'll figure it out at some point. And Captain Surge, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. More than happy to answer any that you might have. All right, so yeah, the rendering of the portal looks way better now. And I think I can fix it. The portal should render correctly regardless of where I place them. So if I place one, you're not rendering! What happened? Why isn't the blue portal rendering? What the deuce? The orange portal renders, but the blue portal just suddenly was like, nah, I'm not going to render anymore. Let me print out the... Okay, yeah, so the blue portal is there. Yeah, see, it's still there, and it's placed. Oh, I'm not returning results, that's why. So I was only returning the orange portal. Yep, that's correct. portal prefabs. So I want this to be results. And this is the actual render itself. Primitives. That should be correct. Yep. So there's the blue portal. And then the orange portal. So this is for rendering portals. Let me go to my render function. Render OMS, render game. And I'll call this render portals. Render portals. Extract that from the input function altogether, and portals should be rendering still. Perfect. Cool. So I got portals rendering. Adding to the primitives is nice. I convert everything into camera space before doing the render, which is good. And then return the results. All right. I think that's a good commit point. All right, portals are rendering correctly. So now I gotta refactor the rest of this crap. So here I'm saying, so this is the calculation of the portal, the actual player movement relative to the portal. All this mess. Creating portal mechanic is complicated. That was yeah, this was a thing. So let me see what pattern that I followed here. I think I just called the method calc. Yeah. So let me go to the portal. Oh, this was a mind-bending little function. The actual calculation of the portal. And I want to do portal.calc. So I want to pass in blue portal, orange portal. What other dependencies do I have? Player. I think that's it. Blue portal, orange portal, and player. All right. Yeah, I have a much better appreciation for the game portal after trying to implement my own portal mechanic. Yep. Remove references to state. Cool. All right, that looks good. So the other facet of portals that I need to fix with regards to portal calculation, let me actually move this into the correct method now. So there's my calc camera, calc level editor, calc game. Should I call it portals instead of portal? Naming things. Naming things. I should name it. I should rename it, shouldn't I? Fine. Call it portals. Go back to main. Fine. Renamed. Right, so calc portals is actually a pretty simple function. And it's, yeah, it remains to be seen. Wait, where did I do my calc of the OMS? I'll put it inside a calc player. It's a strange place to put it. Yeah, let's put it at the top level. So let's see if that works. Perfect. Nice. So everything's rendered correctly. Throw a portal here. The camera shift is weird for portals. I'll get that fixed at some point. But here's the portal movement. Alright, so calc portals is in a good place. Let's go back to input portals again. So input left, right. Why do I care about that? Launch angle. Oh, okay. So that's the control of the portal launch, right? Woo! So that's the aiming. Can aim is whether the player is on the floor. I want to extract all this. Yeah, the portal code was hacked together a few days ago, so I haven't done any of the cleanup yet. What is this? Do I allow the control of the portal using the mouse also? That definitely can't be fully baked, is it? Yeah, that's not baked at all. Not one bit. Alright, so let's remove all that crap. Oh wait, that's in player launch. Input. Portal. Yeah, I should only have keyboard input in there. Cool. And then this is also the calculation of the portal? Yeah, that's the collision facilities for the portal itself. So let me go back to portals. So we have calc for the specific collision of the portal, but movement is another facet of portal construction. So let's move the movement in place too, and all the axes aligned box collision. I need to fix all that. What is this crap? Oh, that's the aim reticle, right? So that's going to go in render. Okay, so that's all the player stuff. Lots of duplication of code. Lots of cleanup needs to happen there. But let me just get into a position where I can even start the cleanup. All right, let's make sure geometry needs to be passed in. It's another one of those situations where, like, do I really want to pass in geometry? And I think the answer is yes. Player, and then do I pass in geometry before or after player? I don't know. Let's do it after for now. Terrain is being passed in. That's for collision of the portal. Yep, I think that makes sense. Pass in terrain. And again, this is good because I can see all the dependencies a specific calculation has. The portal is freaking huge. So here's the launch of the portal, and yeah, it's just large. See if we can make it a tiny bit smaller. Lots of duplication there, lots of cleanup needs to happen. Yep, so the portal's a little bit tinier. But when it lands, it needs to become 40 at that point. I know I'm all over the place right now. So much duplication. Who wrote this crap? There we go. That looks good. Very nice. I think that's all the calculation stuff. That's input. And this is, this is render of the aim reticle for the portal itself. So that probably needs to go inside of render, prefabs. Yep. So I have prefabs and I have a number of primitives. Well, I guess I'm gonna put the aim reticle in there also. I don't see why not. So I look at the player render box. Do I care about the camera space for the aim reticle? Apparently I do. I'll remove that dependency later. But let's get that moved over at least. Camera space player rect. So I'm rendering the aim reticle relative to the player in the camera. The question is, do I really need to do that when I can do that transformation later? Let me get the refactor done, and then I can worry about getting it a little bit more cleaner. Aim reticle stuff, I can just straight up delete it. And so this is the rendering of portals. It's the portal prefabs, and this is the aim reticle prefabs. Yep, that's what I expected. So there's the prefabs, and I need to pass in the player rect, I believe. Camera space player rect in front of camera. Pass that into render portals. I hope this is making sense and I'm not going too fast. These refactorings. Player render box. Where do I use that? So I have the render box and then I just reuse it here because I'm not using the camera space? Really? Great job. Alright, so I can remove this code since I'm passing it in now. Right, so outputs is being used, and that doesn't need to be used anymore because I can actually go straight to results. Results.primitives. Okay. Aim reticle looks good. I only want to show the aim reticle if the player is on the floor. Right, so that's another good refactor. Aim reticle prefabs. This will help me extract these dependencies. These are all good changes. I'm glad I'm doing them. even though it might be a little bit, air quotes, boring. Aim reticle prefabs, put that code here. This needs player. Probably needs all the same things. Doesn't need those things, but it needs these. Okay. Let's go back to aim reticle prefabs player. Camera space player rect camera. And I want to add that to just results.primitives concat aim reticle prefabs. Yep. Trying to keep the structure the same. I don't know if this is a good idea or not yet. Primitives, that looks good. Primitive marker. Gotta return results. All right, aim reticle looks good. And I want to do return results if not player.onFloor. No point in doing the aim unless the player's on the floor. And I actually eventually want that to get fade in and fade out like the return if they're on the floor, or return if player dot, what did I call it, ability? Selected ability. Selected ability does not equal portal. Yep, that looks good. Rest of the portal ability, and when I go back, so that's a good transition. And then the color, I want the color to be based on aim reticle prefabs. I want the color to be based on which portal needs to be shot. So great, I do have to pass in blue portal and red portal. I mean, that works. I'm glad that consistency's there. Orange portal. I don't care about the return value. So the question is, like, does results really need to be a hash, or could I just return the array? I don't have the answer to that yet. It's definitely one of those Yagni situations where it's like, why am I creating this top level data structure when I can just return back out? All right, aim reticle prefabs. So if orange portal, if the orange portal is there, then I want the color to be orange, which is 125. Else, I want the color to be, wait. If orange portal, then I want the color to be blue. Otherwise, I want the color to be orange. so there's our blue color. I shoot that. Yeah, so like this is another thing I need to fix, where if the portal hits but the length of the portal doesn't match the length of the rectangle, maybe I need to make it smaller. But then I've got these disconnected rectangles. We'll have to see. We'll have to see how this is going to work. It also looks like that the portal collision doesn't center correctly, which I'll fix later. Alright, but that specific calculation works. So is the rest specifically related to input? Yes. Cool. Select that input. I need a better way to actually do selections of like Ruby functions. Like expand the selection. Because if I do v inside paragraph, I get that. If anyone in Twitch chat can Google the evil binding for selection around Ruby functions, that would be wonderful. So this is interesting. So when you aim the portals, or when you aim left and right, there's this adjustment speed that changes, and I think I'm going to put that outside of, because that's more like a usability thing. It has nothing to do with the specific portal itself. So player, and then it's just called target launch angle adjustment speed. So this thing should just be adjustment speed. Alright, I think I'm okay with that. Player, then state dot target launch angle adjustment speed. This stuff needs to, yeah, this stuff needs to be pulled out. So this would be, if I go back to OMS, yeah, I'll fix that. So you call them movement requests. I should probably just call them action requests. I'll make that refactoring in a second. All right. Action requests, input requests, ability request. It's all terrible. Inputs, action requests. Right, so like left or right, launch would be another action. I call it action requests. And so the action requests are going to be left, just call it left, right. That works for me, and then I'll launch. I'll inline it, even though it's kind of long. So then here it would be action request.launch. And then left, right, this would be action request left, right. Yeah, I don't think I have any reference to other inputs. Okay. Can aim is whether the player is on the floor or not. Yeah, so that's another interesting question. How did I do OMS? Yeah, can aim is just whether the player's on the floor or not. Did that just all work? Nope. Right, so here's the side effect, right? So same thing here, results. So I'm going to say results to blue portal, orange portal is nil, blue portal, orange portal. I'm going to pass those in, okay? Orange portal, blue portal. I must make the most boringest streams. Input takes in, yep, more parameters. I know. And I think this makes sense because some of the other artifacts that would come from it. Do I have a? Yeah, I don't have a bounce sound playing at this point. Set the blue portal, orange portal, and then return the results. And then here I could just do state the blue portal is equal to results.portal. That doesn't look right. I screwed something up. Right, orange portal, line 507. Well, that looks good. $146. Oh, okay. I need to return. Yeah, return results. And this extraction is kind of tricky. Why is it orange instead of blue? Why aren't the portals coming up? That's all correct. Why is portal color incorrect, though? What did I screw up? Am I not returning results? I am returning results. Did the portals actually launch? Nope. What did I screw up? Ah, that's what I screwed up. I want to retain the original value of the blue portal and the orange portal that's being passed in. Pure functions is tricky. I don't know if it's going to yield the benefits that I think it will. I think that's an issue with render. Aim reticle. If orange portal is set, then set the color orange. Wait. Yep. I need another else if here. No, that's correct. What's the value of blue portal? Nil. If orange portal I wanted to be blue, else if I want to be that, and there we go. Cool. No, it was strictly in rendering. So what was happening was that the logic that I originally had was this. So right now there's no portals. Now it's correct. What the dilly? But it's still blue, which is not correct. Because at this point it should be orange. Yeah, so it's totally this logic. Yeah, see, it works. I can't explain why. There we go. That looks good. Cool. Yeah, it was just the rendering, which is good. So calc input, I set the results to what the original values of blue and orange are, because I want to retain that because I'm updating it. I'm centralizing the side effect inside of main and keeping this function pure, letting someone know that if given an existing blue and orange portal and an action request, if things were invoked, what would be the updated value? And these are what the updated values end up being. So that actually looks good. Portal location looks good. The ability power has been cleaned up. The update based on the side effect looks good. I think it looks good. All right, so now to actually fix some portal issues. Wait, I didn't have files saved. Let's see if I'm still screwing up somewhere. That looks good. Yep. Blue, orange. Stays blue. Those portals come out really slow. The aim speed looks good. Yeah, the portal locations is something I'm gonna have to work with, which is fine. That's another thing I need to fix. Both portals are in the same location. Don't want that, but this is good. Okay, so the next thing I want to fix is if y'all can hear the sound. Yeah, that definitely needs to be centered, because you'll notice that it's like shifted over, which is weird. But I'm gonna move over here and set another orange portal, right? So that movement looks good. But if you can hear the sound, do you see how like the circle lost its velocity? And the reason is that it's hitting the terrain and performing the bounce off the terrain, even though there's a portal there, right? So what I want to say is, with regards to the terrain collision, I want to say if there's an intersection with the portal, then don't perform any specific calculations with respect to the terrain. I think that's what I want to say. See, I prematurely created this module, and now it's not just vanilla like axis line box collision. Now it has context within the game. And maybe I can still use this function, but this is exactly the issue that comes when you refactor too soon. And I'm glad I didn't go whole hog, right, and start to create all these like different classes, because I would have gotten it wrong. Right, so the rectangle physics I don't want to interact with if the player is currently colliding with a portal. So let me look at portals calc. So maybe something like teleported at. Maybe. All right, so here's the calculation. If there's an intersection with the portal, at that point so this is shooting of portals, and then this is the teleportation. Teleportation of the player. All right, and so portal calculations happen after the player calculation. Yeah, calc player terrain physics. That's just a weird name. So I want to do the calculation. I guess I want the calculation of the player to be here. It's weird that input player is in this location. We'll fix that later. There's like this gray area when it comes with input calculation and just like simulation calculation. I'll have to fix at some point. Alright, so calculation of the player. We calculate the portals first. And if a teleportation occurred, at that point, I don't want to calculate terrain physics. because they're not interacting with the terrain anymore. They're interacting with the specific portal itself. And I think that's correct. It's probably worth splitting this up into shooting at the player and then the teleportation physics. I'll do that later. I'll do that next, but let me get this working first. Do you want to say teleported at, portal used at, portal collision at, or teleported at? And now the question is tick count being passed in? Tick count is not being passed in. So we got pass in tick count. What is the order? So tick count, the convention I have so far is that it's before player. Lots of parameters getting passed in. Now the question is, maybe I should do name parameters. I'm using ordinal positioning at this point, which is not ideal. Yeah. If both portals are there, then a teleportation is going to occur, so I don't have to actually do it in every branch. Calc takes in wrong number of parameters. Yep. Calc portals. I do like that the dependency graph is explicit at this point. That's one thing that feels really good right now. So calc terrain physics. What do I want to do here? So the challenge is that I don't want this specific machinery to occur if the player just teleported, because I don't want the bouncing or anything to occur because of that. Is it as simple as doing this? All right, so it looks like the speed is being retained, which is good. Okay, so now there's a tunneling issue because the speed is too. Yeah, if the speed is too fast, then they tunnel through. So to avoid the tunneling, I want the width of the portal to equal the rectangle that the portal is interacting with. So instead of it just being this, I need this to be collision dot height. There's no th. And this needs to be collision dot width. Same thing here. Collision dot height. Collision dot width. Yep, I think that's good. All right, so now if I reset, when I create a portal, tunneling will be avoided because the portal just doesn't render anymore. It's not width, it's just W. It's not height, it's just H. Yeah, I'm not using 40 anywhere else. Could have sworn there was more locations than that. All right. Syntax error. That's kind of ominous. Like, you get a syntax error and then it just suddenly just stops rendering altogether. You don't hear the sound or anything. There we go. That's wrong. Whoops. Undo. Alright, so that needs to stay 40. But this needs to be collision.width, collision.height, collision.width. All this stuff needs to be cleaned up. Collision.height. Alright. Non-float value my ass. Alright, let's try this again. Okay, that's good. It's not perfect, but it's better. We're getting there. So we set the position. I don't want to just subtract 8, I don't think. The issue is the -8, which is another hard-coded value. Oh, let's look at the y value. Let's see if we can reason through this. That's kind of gross, but I think I need to set... So the original portal height was 10. And I want the portal to jet out like two pixels from the terrain so that it's interacted with first. So because of that, I shift the portal by 8, which is the height of the portal minus 2. This is always the tricky part with streaming, is that eventually it gets to a point of complexity where people watching are just like, what is this logic? What is he even doing anymore? And then this would be, yeah, orange portal dot width -2, width -2, orange portal dot height -2. That's correct. Fix those syntax errors. All right, let's try this again. Good. And yeah, it still juts out by 2, which is great. That's exactly what I want. Now that's just the collision box. When I actually render the portal, I'll have it render with some kind of like pretty thing. Alright, so now the question is that, does the tunneling occur anymore? It still hit. What's going on? Is 2 enough? Yeah, because player.teleported at is... What is the issue here? Player.teleported at should occur in those specific scenarios. And on the frame that the teleportation occurs, I don't want to process collision. And the player should be moved the player should be moved to the other portal on its edge, plus a few pixels, so that the collision doesn't occur. It doesn't re-enter the portal. All right, so let's try this again. That part looks good. Why are you colliding? There's no collision that time, but there was this time. That's dumb. Is 2 not enough? Subtract. Oh, I'm always subtracting. That's not right. Wait, no, the additions are here. What if I increase the... I'll increase the amount from -2 to -10. Just to understand what the hell's going on here. I should really create a replay, because I'm creating these 2 portals like multiple times at this point and wasting time doing this. Okay, so 2 pixels actually, increasing it to 10 pixels over fix that, the tunneling right there. Which is strange because it's two pixels. Oh, does that mean my train isn't rendering correctly? I bet you that's it. Render what? What am I rendering? I bet you it's because my train isn't rendering correctly. Maybe. So if I go to my portal, render portals, rendering of portals, the dx and dy are 0 here. Yeah, this weird like offset that I'm having to deal with that's 8 pixels is strange. But I'm wondering if that's why I'm having an issue. Yeah, look at that. That's why I was getting the collision. Why would that occur though? So the intersection of the rect, I don't shift the rect to the location of the collision before attempting to update the value. No. And it doesn't matter because that's where I'm creating the portal. That's very strange. And watch, I bet I broke map manipulation. Yep, I did. Render level editor +4 +8. Everything's terrible. I want to move the level editor stuff into a separate file too, so I'm not having to search the main file. Yep, I don't need the +8 anymore, I don't think. It's still shifting, like, yeah. Everything's borked. To do. I'm going down a rabbit hole that I don't want to go down right now. A message on Discord. Let me check that real quick. All right, I think this is a good point to commit. Fixed portal, tunneling, and interaction with terrain, which should be ignored if the player teleported. I think this is good. Alright, let's push to the limits. So if I say... I'm going to put one portal... Technically, there's no way to do this in the game, but just to... But it's an interesting exercise. Alright, so I'm going to go all the way up here. So we get a crazy fall radius. Woo! That's so cool that this works. Yay, portals! Portals are fun. Woo! And the recharge still occurs, which is good. So if you're in this situation and you're like, I can't exit the portal, you actually can. Right, there's your exit. Alright, so you're here. You want to get past this lava. There's some manipulation of the lava to get you further down into the level, which is cool. And now you have a fancy portal mechanic that I haven't actually created any interesting things in the game yet. The other thing is I probably want to follow the portal if it like goes off the screen, so you can see where it actually lands. That is so freaking cool. That's fun. That's a fun little thing. More refactoring can be done, but I think this is a great, this is a good amount of polish. How long have I been streaming? Man, that's a lot done in 2 hours. I can do more refactoring, but refactoring is kind of boring. It's necessary, but it's got to be a balance between those facets of the system. Render player debug. I got to figure out the rendering of all the stuff. Figure out why the portals aren't being positioned correctly. That's something I need to deal with. There's some weird relationships and dependencies I have with respect to some of the like UI, the death animation and weird effects I have in the game. Right, so when you die, the aim reticles and all that go away, and then they fade in, like so. But yeah, if you've got a portal, if you've got a specific that machinery isn't added there, and then tapping between these two environments, I want to fade in and fade out, like the actual shifting between those, that needs to be fixed. So a lot of quality things here as far as visuals need to be resolved. But we have a portal mechanic. So how do we use this damn portal? Cannot create a problem in the game where orbital positioning isn't sufficient, but somehow a portal is. That's an interesting question. I don't know if there's a good answer for this. How can I introduce the need for a portal which doesn't Alright, so if I create a portal here, where the hell did I go? How'd I do that? Alright, so if I create a portal here, I should probably clear out the other portal before setting this one, maybe, or something. Let me see if I can replicate that issue. So if okay, I can't. All right, so I have a portal here. And then let me hop up here. And place the portal. So now I can shift between these two values. Maybe like a timing thing where it's like I gotta hit a switch. Yeah, so let's say if I like hit a switch, but then I'm like, all right, I gotta actually make it through the door, but you can't because the door closes too quickly. So what you have to do is you, does anyone know I don't want to comment about political stuff. I don't care about that. Please refrain. Thanks. Not a topic that I want to talk about. Okay, so it could be like a speed thing. Where if there's a door here, but the switch to activate the door is like here. What game is this? The game is making a Metroidvania type of game with portal mechanics. Right, so there's your portal. Yeah, so Metroidvania with portal stuff. You've got places where you can die, which takes you back. And I just like kind of figured out the nuances of the portal itself. And I was like, all right, well, I've got this portal capability. and I've got this ability to change the direction of the trajectory while in the air. How can those things be used together to traverse this Metroidvania world, where one doesn't make the other useless? And the idea that I came up with was, all right, so let's say there was like a switch that you have to hit that's like around here, and the switch opens a door that's here. But the But the problem is that you can't get through the door, without using a portal. Right? So let's say if you hit the switch, and then you're like, all right, I need to make it through the door. And the door is like located here, but the door closes by the time you use your in-air maneuverability to get to that door. So what you have to do is, like, when you're up on this platform, you put an entry and exit portal. So then after you hit the switch, you then go through the portal, and then you can get through the door. So that timing consideration is something that I can add there. Another idea could be something like, again, it'd be timing related, trying to get back before something horrible happens. Right, so let's say you're here, and then you shoot upwards, and then you hit a switch up here, but when you hit the switch, it makes the floor lava and kills you. So you're like, all right, well, I need to escape the lava, but it took all my movement to get to the point to even hit the switch. So you would maybe aim like this, hit the switch, which turns that area to lava, but then like opens some specific thing, and then you use the portal to escape that specific area. So the ability to like avoid hazards. And probably something over here too would be cool. Because right now I don't think the portals. That's silly. It's like the portal's too big. All right, let's remove the portals. All right, or it could potentially also be used right here. So like, the portal's colliding with the terrain because of that. That's annoying. Let me make the portal a little bit smaller. But the idea is that you've got some. You can't traverse lava, right? Get back to the game. You can't traverse lava, but maybe you can put a portal on the lava surface to keep you from getting killed. So you put a portal here and somehow get to a platform that gets you some other point in the lava, and then be able to teleport through the portal to get past the lava. So that could be another option. Yeah, so I think all those facilities give you a good synergy between portaling and movement while in the air. That is very satisfying right there. Music feels good. All that feels pretty nice. Casper, I don't know if you're still around, but what are you working on? What are the cool things you are doing? What brings you here today? There's only 2 people in the stream, so maybe Casper left. Casper the Ghost. Casper the Ghost. His name is their name is literally Casper the Ghost. That's awesome. You can't shoot portals while in the air. Do I want to change that? Maybe? It's going to be very twitchy though, unfortunately. So if you jump and then you want to change to the portal, switch the shoot the portal, and then do all the other things, it gets complicated. Although that was an interesting accident that I did. So you shoot into the air and then you stop time, which allows you to aim and create a portal, and then you start time back up, and then you can jump through the portal. So I'm adding the ability to stop time to this game apparently. That's not a terrible mechanic. So do I want to add the ability to stop time? So you can aim portals while there? I think the portal speed definitely has to be faster. Yeah, what do I have the portals DY and DX set to right now? It's probably a really stupidly slow value. I'm wasting time finding the function, which again is, I don't like that. Oh, there it is. Portal DY. But what's the default value for Portal DY? Is it just set in? Is that just set in the game? No. Is it inside of inputs? Yeah, there it is. That's the creation of the portal right there. So what if I double the speed? Lots of code repetition that I need to clean up. That looks cool. Yeah, so it's way faster. So you're in the air, you stop time, you shoot a portal, But you can't go through the portal. Well, it needs to travel faster than you do. And then you're just like almost following the portal as it tries to land on its spot. I think that can work. So you have the ability to stop time and then use that time to aim portal. All right, so yeah, you get a augmented power on the portal itself to have it stop time. I think I like that. So maybe there's a time mechanic in there too. And that'll let you have portals inside of lava. So you can shoot off like so. Stop time. Like shoot a portal in this trajectory here, and then shoot a portal down here. Teleport through. You end up here, and then you use that and you can like move over or something. It becomes really puzzly. And I think I'm not sure how okay I am with that. I mean, the Portal game itself had puzzle aspects to it, and people, I'm sure, were like, I can't figure this puzzle out. But yeah, I think the stop time mechanic would be really actually interesting. And then other abilities, you get more of these hidden areas where you can get more cells to let you maneuver around a ton more than just 4 times. Okay, let me think on those ideas. I think this is a good point to stop the stream. And yeah, I come back on later on tonight. We'll see. All right, y'all have a good one.